We're less than 4 months away from our first look at iOS 17, and while iOS 16 introduced a lot of great new features, there's a lot of things the iPhone is still missing.
In this video, we'll talk about our iOS 17 wish list, as well as some features our channel members, like James10000, and Discord members said that they'd like to see.
I'd love to see customizable app library folders. I like keeping my iPhone to one home screen so I can swipe right to left and boom, I'm in my app library. Unfortunately, the app library is kind of a mess. We've got utilities, web browsers are those utilities?
Technically,
I guess. And then you scroll down and other, just mishmash of everything, and it's a mess.
Yeah, the whole point is to make your iPhone more organized, and Apple did a terrible job of organizing it.
I'd love to be able to come into here, tap on a folder, and then press and hold on the name of the folder and actually change it. I try to drag an app to a different folder or rearrange them in the app library. It just brings them right to my home screen. It's a mess.
Which ties into something that I'd like to see, and that's smart home screen sorting. I would love to be able to see my apps all in a row, in different order, maybe alphabetically, maybe by the ones I use most often. Siri Suggestions already does that, and that's how I open most of my apps, but I'd love for home screens to be able to do this.
Doesn't reset home screen layout put them in alphabetical order?
It does, but I don't want to have to reset all of my app icons every time. Do I really use a lot of apps on a weekly basis, or I just use 20 or 24? I only use a few. I want to filter, like a smart playlist in iTunes.
One really important privacy setting I think Apple needs to build into iOS 17 is a switch for the iPhone's accelerometer.
The accelerometer inside your iPhone is a tiny device that helps detect its movement and orientation. It's kind of like a tiny tilt device inside of your iPhone. Detects if you're going up and down, or side to side, or back and forth.
But unfortunately, Big Tech can track us using the movement data from our accelerometers, and Apple doesn't let us turn that sensor off.
Apple doesn't acknowledge that there could be a risk sharing your accelerometer data with every single app that you open without your permission. But Android does. There's a switch on the Galaxy that lets you turn it right off.
In Apple's defense, accelerometers aren't inherently bad. They allow for features like crash detection.
And a lot of cool game features, but how are they used to track you? Let's say David and I are riding on a bus next to each other, and our phones are in our pockets. An app could use that data, the same shaking and moving and tilting, to match our phones up and track David even if he has location services turned off.
This next setting is something only developers can access, and that's reset trusted devices.
But we think this should be available to everybody. When you plug in your iPhone to a device, you get this Trust This Device pop-up. You tap it, but what if you want to take that trust back? Maybe it's an ex-lover's MacBook. They steal your phone, they can get your photos.
We get it. We want to be able to revoke the trust for all the devices in case something gets stolen. You can reset all the settings on your iPhone. That's a bit over the top. Just give us the Reset Trusted Devices button.
I'm a little wishy-washy on this one, but side loadings. There are rumors that in iOS 17, thanks to the European Union, Apple will start to allow third-party app stores on the iPhone.
It could be cool getting access to apps you never had access to before. Maybe Fortnite makes a comeback to iPhone. The major downside here could be a lot of malware getting onto iPhones with these less regulated app stores.
It's on my ish list, more than a wish list.
One of our channel members, James10000, wants a lot more access in the Shortcuts app.
Specifically, he wants to be able to do things like restart your iPhone with a shortcut, which at this point you can't do. I doubt Apple will allow that. But he also wants to be able to automatically start or stop a stopwatch or send his time to a friend with the Shortcuts app. That'd be cool.
Maybe just in general, making the Shortcuts app in iOS 17 more accessible to the average user, because right now it's kind of tricky to set up shortcuts, and the default gallery you see on the iPhone is not super impressive. And similar to these stopwatches, one of our Discord members, Tim, suggested that we finally get iPhones that can set multiple timers at once.
Right, I was surprised when I found out you can't. But if you set a timer, you can't set a second one.
What's really weird is you can actually already do it on your Apple Watch. So I don't know why Apple hasn't built that into the iPhone yet. I can see it being really useful. Maybe you're making a meal and you've got different timers going off for different food preparation times. Come on, Apple.
What about custom lock screen buttons? They already exist for the flashlight app and the camera app. Why can't I turn on the lights using the Shortcut app or the Home app?
Why can't we just pick and choose? We can add stuff to Control Center. Why can't we select our lock screen buttons? I don't know.
And don't even get me started with always on display. Right now we're limited to the clock and a few widgets. Why can't we add more?
Imagine you're following a recipe. Let's give people the ability to follow the whole recipe on the screen.
Which leads me to my next idea. Always on display for everything. If you've got that recipe in the Notes app, why doesn't the Notes app just fade to show what's in the Notes app right now instead of the stupid lock screen.
It'd be a great way to save battery life because you'd still be using the Notes app and reading the content you want to see, but the screen wouldn't be as bright.
And our Discord member, Itzga here, wants to be able to place icons anywhere on the home screen using grid spacing, which I guess sort of ties into my idea of filtering. People have been asking for that ever since the dawn of the iPhone. I don't think we'll see it in iOS 17.
I think it'd be cool. You can rearrange your app icons into a heart or a something. I don't know.
People are using blank widgets to get around this restriction. So if people are doing it anyway with some sort of a third-party hack, let's just bring it to everybody.
Well, that's what Apple usually does when people try to get a workaround and it becomes popular. Apple just steals that idea and integrates it to the iPhone. This next wish list item is really designed to help you save storage space on your iPhone, and that's automatically compressing those 48 megapixel photos. Apple bragged a lot about the 48 megapixel sensor in the iPhone 14 Pro, but the only way to take 48 megapixel photos is to use their Pro RAW format, and those files can be over 100 megabytes. We made a shortcut. We'll link that in the section below the subscribe button. I'll help you reduce that file size by about 9 to 10 times. Speaking of high-resolution photos, what about 8K video recording? The 48 megapixel sensor on the iPhone has more than enough pixels to record in 8K. Samsung phones do it, so why doesn't Apple? Is it because the processor isn't fast enough? No, it's fast enough. The A16 Bionic chip is way faster than anything inside the Galaxy. Maybe Apple is just holding this feature back so they can make it a big selling point of the 15 Pro and 15 Pro Max. 8K's native resolution is 7680 by 4320, which means that it's just over 33 million pixels. A 33 megapixel sensor would be able to do it. I don't know why Apple doesn't do it yet. And another feature that's already available on Androids, Flip to Shhh on the Google Pixel. Let's bring that to the iPhone. Right, I want to be able to flip my phone over and have it go into silent mode. And then when I flip it back the other way, ring her on. I want conversations with Siri. I say, "Hey Siri, how are you today?"
I'm pretty good, thanks.
But it never asks how I'm doing. Well, why don't you ask our supercharged Siri or ChatGPT Siri how it's doing? How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. How about you?
I'm doing great. Why don't you tell all of our viewers to subscribe to the channel?
I'm telling viewers to subscribe to the channel because I believe it offers valuable content that they'll enjoy.
Thank you.
Can't beat that. That's proof enough that it's way better than the regular Siri.
Apple needs to invest in Siri and make it much better fast. People love to have conversations with Siri. I love to do it in the car. I built a little setting that saves what she says to notes in case I'm having a detailed conversation that I want to reference later. Samsung and Apple should be concerned that Google will be first to market with a ChatGPT-like voice assistant and push people to those Google phones. I'm just picturing a world now where we have all these super intelligent AIs in our pockets. It'll be like that movie Her, where the guy falls in love with his little phone.
What's it like to be alive in that room right now?
Next, something I'm passionate about, and that's wireless lossless audio, aka CD quality audio. Apple makes a huge deal about lossless audio on their website and their presentations, but on their website it says that Bluetooth connections aren't lossless. With the H2 chip in the second generation AirPods Pro, there's more than enough power to support this. They're probably just waiting for their next product release to make it a selling point. My big prediction, AirKey and AirPass. In iOS 16.3, Apple introduced security keys, physical security keys, and they went out of their way to say that it should only be used by certain groups of people that are more likely to be hacked. But is Apple really the type of company to not sell a product to people if they can? Especially if it relates to security? I think not. Apple is probably waiting until WWDC this year to announce a new security key. And I think they might come out with two of them. The first would be what I like to call the AirTag 2, a second generation AirTag with a rechargeable battery with a lightning connector so that you could connect it to your non-NFC Apple devices and use it as a security key. And also, Apple would let you use it with all of the AirTag accessories you already own and love. What's the second product prediction? An AirKey or an iFob that would fit on a keyring, new form factor. Apple should draw inspiration from the third generation iPod Shuffle clip because it's already got a hole in it. It's already got an Apple logo. Just add wireless charging, add NFC, and you are good to go. And what would this new technology be called? I would call it AirPass, and I think Apple will use it to herald in what they'll call the end of passwords forever with the iPhone 15 or WWDC this year. Do you think Apple's going to launch a security key? Let us know what you think it'll be called in the comments section below. The next wishlist item is from our Discord member, Tim, Apple Card budgeting tools. Tim wants notifications for category spending limits. So if you spend X amount of money on this one app or category, your phone lets you know.
Right now in the wallet app on my phone, if I go into Apple Card, you get your monthly activity, but it's not super in-depth, and there could be a lot more built into this to help people not overspend with their Apple Card.
Tim got me thinking, what about a wallet integration for all of your bank accounts and credit cards? Yes, you could already add a credit card to Apple Pay in the wallet app, but you can't see the balances of your bank accounts or your credit cards, and they don't combine it all into one overall financial look. And I feel like that could be really cool and a great selling point for Apple Pay.
And what about instant balance transfers?
Aren't you sick of those? You have to wait 3 days to transfer money between PayPal and Bank of America? Well, you could pay the fee with PayPal. Apple should just come out and do it for free.
How about an iPadOS 17 wishlist item, a calculator app? Where has that been?
Apple has always said that they're not going to roll out a calculator app until it can be amazing and totally take advantage of the iPad. But I say, especially now with the popover multitasking windows, just give us a calculator app. Keep it simple. We're not going to judge you.
I just totally interrupted.
No, it's fine. You can interrupt.
Okay.
We're not going to judge you.
In my mind, I think it'd be really cool. You know, you turn your iPhone to the side, you get the scientific iPhone calculator. You turn the iPad to the side. What if you got like all the controls you can do with like a TI-84 calculator? That would be cool.
That would be cool.
They're not going to do it, but it'd be cool. How about an iPad feature we want on iPhone split screen?
Or maybe not split screen because it gets kind of small, but pop over multitasking. Samsung does it where one of the windows becomes very transparent.
Or maybe you could tap to switch between them.
That'd be cool.
But unfortunately, iOS 17 not quite here yet. So while you're waiting, check out our iOS 16 video on the settings you need to change now.